Welcome to our first master class with civilian education. We're just going to wait a few minutes for people to get on. Is anybody on? Who's on?
Indecent. I don't know who that is.
Hi. Hi, welcome. We're just going to wait a few more minutes for people to join us. Oh. Are people coming on?
Only one person.
Okay. We'll just wait a couple more minutes. Thank you so much. I hope that everyone is holding up well in the quarantine and during this difficult time. I hope that everyone is healthy. I hope that everyone feels safe. I'm excited to have an opportunity to be creating some video content. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time, so it's pretty awesome to have the time to be able to do it. So thanks again for joining. And thanks to John Desplaines, Johnny Boy, my son. He's helping, so maybe he'll get a little moment to turn around on the camera so he can say hi to everyone. He's feeling a little bit shy and doesn't want to do that right now, so it's okay. Is anyone else joining us? Okay. We'll wait a few more minutes. Is Maggie on? Okay. Okay. While we're waiting, I can kind of point you to, if you go to my wall on the page, on the civilian education page, I did create a handout for today's class. So I can also email that to you if you would like an email copy. So just go ahead and direct message me at this account or Civilian Beauty Grooming. And that way I can get that handout to you if you can see it a little bit better. Otherwise, you can just grab it again off my wall and save it. I don't know if you can save it, but take a screenshot of it. It might be really small if you do that, and a little bit hard to read. The font's kind of small, but okay. Anybody else on? All right, just a couple more minutes, we can wait. Today we're just gonna be talking about setting up your learning environment, just kind of thinking through our mindset as we prepare to go into some education. I know that for a lot of people, you're probably going to be doing a lot of different education during this time with so much downtime. So I wanted to really help people create a great space where they can really make the most of that time, that learning time. Okay, so I'm going to wait just a few minutes. I apologize, it's a little bit noisy in here. All right. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so again, what we wanted to talk about today was how to set up your learning environment. I really feel like this is sometimes overlooked. I know even in myself, we want to take the time to put something together or to kind of focus on a new idea or a new activity, and what we don't always do is take the time to create the space to make the most of that. It's really important to go into an educational opportunity with a strong mindset to be able to make the most of that time. So we're going to talk about the tools that we need for this particular masterclass, but in general, when you are setting yourself up to learn, so in any class that you're going to be taking on Instagram or other avenues for video content during the quarantine. And we're also going to be talking about the mindset that's going to help make the most of that learning time. And we're lastly going to be talking about really what to focus on, what to put the highest priority on when you're learning. What's gonna help you get the most as you're watching a video and trying to practice hand position and body position. So this is really an issue that's specific to hair cutting, but how you can really set yourself up for success instead of setting yourself up for an opportunity where you don't feel like it was an opportunity, where you feel like it didn't work very well. Okay, so as I said, there's a handout. It's on my wall. I'll be referencing that handout. If you want a bigger copy of that, if you want me to email it to you, go ahead and DM me at Civilian Education, or you can DM me at Civilian Beauty Grooming. That way, I can send you a copy. If you look at it on my wall, you can take a screenshot, but the lettering is a little bit small. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about the mindset. And that really what we want to have is a growth mindset, and that is what I wanted to reference today, especially because we're in the quarantine. This is such a great opportunity to really work on that growth mindset. So any of you that have ever worked with me before, I'll start class by saying, that you want to think about, if you are uncomfortable, then you're growing. Then that really means that you are maximizing that opportunity. If you are in a learning environment and you don't feel uncomfortable, if you really feel like there's no tension happening, that there's no kind of push-pull, maybe even a little bit of frustration or a little bit of insecurity or anxiety creeping up, if you're feeling totally relaxed, then you really might not be pushing yourself far enough. So those feelings of discomfort, that feeling of overwhelmment, a little bit of overwhelmment, a little bit of anxiety, that's necessary for learning. You're pushing yourself outside your comfortability. So when we do that, it doesn't necessarily feel always good or easy. So in a growth mindset, what we want to do is we want to kind of change that idea or that truth of this is hard, I can't do this, I don't like this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to be here, this isn't fun, this is terrible, to this is an opportunity, this is exciting, this is going to help me, this is going to be good for me, this is going to be good for others. This challenge creates an opportunity. Challenges give me the space to grow. Growing is good. Growing can feel uncomfortable. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to feel difficult, that it's difficult. One of the reasons why we wanted to do this on a live feed, is really to create the opportunity for you to ask questions and reach out for help. So there is a point when we're experiencing a challenge, when we're learning, or when we're just experiencing something that's bad, where things can push us beyond our limits, where we don't feel like we are in a growth mindset, and instead we feel like beyond what we can handle. And that's really the time to reach out for help. That's the time to ask questions. That's a time to interact with someone. That's a time to engage. That's a time to reach out for support, to connect with other people, to use your resources. That can be a time to use mindfulness activities like breathing, exercise. Even though we're quarantined, we still have the opportunity to go outside. I know at our house we're taking movement breaks every day and going outside for 20 minutes, maybe going for a walk and things like that. So there are ways that we can help reduce that anxiety, step away from the learning or the challenge, and then come back into it. Obviously, this can be used as a metaphor for this whole experience of being in a quarantine. So, we can take this time and approach it with a growth mindset. We can also take these learning opportunities and approach those with a growth mindset. Okay, that said, one of the things I had wanted to say when we got started was if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the question box. If you want to ask me a question privately, you can also DM me that. Do we have any questions right now, Duke? No? Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so if you're able to follow along on the handout, that was step one of the things that you need to create a great learning space is a growth mindset. And really that's the hardest step. That's the hardest challenge, is really setting yourself up to understand that this is an opportunity, this can feel good, And I do want to acknowledge that I know that this is a difficult time for everyone. I know for me, my income right now has plummeted to 0. And that's a hard thing for our family. I'm the breadwinner in our home. So that's not an easy thing for us. I just started a business 6 months ago. So certainly having my income reduced to 0 after 6 months is not the most opportune time. So I don't want to minimize the challenges that we're all experiencing by saying, try and approach this with a growth mindset. But I do really feel like it's an opportunity and going to be the best way to handle this difficult time. So, okay. And I know too that there are lots of opportunities and forums and strategies around helping us support some of those challenges during this time too. So reach out to the Milwaukee beauty community, connect with other hairdressers, use the CDC, be looking at unemployment opportunities to apply, to file for unemployment to help you with some of those more serious struggles. All right, so the second thing that we're gonna need is moving down on our handout is a quiet space. So what we wanna do is really find a space in your house that feels like it can remain your learning space. You can put positive energy into that space, you can meditate in that space, you can put crystals and plants in that space. But what you really want is that space to be quiet, and you want it to feel comfortable for you. You want it to feel like a place you really are excited to step into. If you are at home with kids, especially small kids, I know my house is like a zoo right now. So creating a space that feels like it's just yours, maybe it's in your bedroom or something like that, where you really aren't intermixed with the rest of what's going on, can be really important. You can step in and out of that space throughout the day or throughout the week, but when you come into it, you will automatically feel your energy shift and be ready to learn, because the space will sort of invite you in, it will get you excited and help build you up. So a couple things that you want to do in your quiet space. Again, you want it to be just yours. You want to feel connected to the things that are in it. So if you want to put up pictures, if you want to put up motivational posters that you make, that's an activity you can do with your kids or other people. Hang up some affirmations. Find some great books or inspiring material or magazines to put in that space. You can also put some plants in that space, crystals in that space. You can meditate in that space. Use some sage or other smudges to help cleanse the space. Put an aroma diffuser in the space. Those are all opportunities or options that you have to help make the space feel open, clean, ready for you, and help you get excited as you're going to start learning. Okay, and the other thing you're going to need in that space is light. So if you can find a space that's close to some natural light, like a window, that's going to be really helpful. Otherwise, just making sure you have a really good strong light. If you bring a lamp from another room and set it up in there, or I know you can get some clamp lights from the garage or things like that. That's what we have. That's all going to work just fine too. It doesn't need to be the perfect light, but you're just going to want to have enough light to be able to see. Okay, any questions yet, Duke? All right, great. Okay, tools. On the handout, I have a list of tools. Tools are basic. Basic clips, comb. We're going to be working with scissors really in the beginning mainly, but you can, if you're running to the salon to grab the tools that you need, I would go ahead and grab your razor blade, whichever razor blade you like, and I would also grab, I'm going to reach into my kit here, I would also grab any clippers that you have or guards, because at the end of the series, when we really get to short work, we will be picking up a clipper and working on some barbering skills, okay? One thing I want to say about tools is whatever you have is fine. You don't have to have the perfect tools. If you're not able to go to the salon and get your kit, please don't worry about it. You can make the most with whatever you have. The motto is start with what you got and do the best that you can, okay? So I wanna keep that in mind first and foremost. If you have the chance to go with your tools, pick a nice, good quality comb. That's gonna help you really reinforce strong sectioning. And there's sometimes a myth out there that you should not use your regular shears on a mannequin head. Mannequin heads and your regular shears are fine, so no need to use a pair of shears that are uncomfortable for you. You can use their salon shears at home or on your mannequin. Okay, so any questions yet? All right, next, of course, a major tool that we're gonna need, and probably the biggest barrier to learning all of this, is going to be a mannequin head. So a long-haired mannequin head is gonna be the best. We're gonna start with a long layer, but if you don't have that, you can order something on Amazon. We are gonna start with haircuts on Tuesday. So that should give people enough time to get a mannequin head from Amazon. If not, you can also go with a higher price point and go on to Pivot Point and get a mannequin. You can DM me and reach out and we can try and strategize a solution for that. Or if you have something in your basement that is at a bob or something a little bit shorter, grab that. Anything is gonna help. We can make anything work, okay? Second, you're gonna want to stand. Now, I know most of the mannequin heads on Amazon have a small clamp. It's not the nicest quality clamp, but it will work to set up on a table. So that would be something that you could use at your kitchen table or something like that. Going back to your workspace, I did forget to mention you're gonna want a table or something to set your tools on, and something to either clamp your stand to or a large enough space to set up a stand. That's gonna be important as well, okay? If you want, on Amazon, they do have nicer tripod stands. They don't have the Pivot Point stand. I think they run at about $35, but you can grab one of those and that will be something that you will use long-term. So I think it's a great investment. Otherwise, again, you can go on to Pivot Point and invest in a really nice mannequin stand. And I think it's something that will serve you for the rest of your career. So I wouldn't have any trouble spending that money if that's available to you now. I know right now, struggling with income, so it may not be a good time to invest. Just think about that, how you want to approach that. And again, any questions or challenges that you have, just reach out and ask a question and we will strategize a solution. Okay, so that's it for tools and your mannequin head and stand. Anything with long natural hair, it's not going to be helpful to be working on synthetic hair. So when you do your search in Amazon.com, go ahead and make sure that you're searching for mannequin head 100% natural hair. All right, awesome. All right, and we talked about having good light in your space, and then last but not least, something to write on. So I am really a stickler about taking notes. I think that it's really helpful to jot down some notes. So when you're watching a video, especially with these Instagram lives, it may be best for you not to actually follow along and be doing the haircut while I'm shooting the video, while we're working live. You can sit down, take notes, diagram the haircut. I will try to put together some sort of diagram and post those for you to follow. But what would be best for you is to have a notebook, take some notes. All of the videos will be saved and they will be on the wall of civilian education. So you should be able to reference the videos later. But while you're watching the video, sit, relax, take some notes, ask some questions, be interacting with the media, not actually cutting hair. Then step away later that day or the next day and take the time to kind of work through the haircut. You can write down any questions that you have on your notes, and you can privately message me any questions that you might have in between the two classes. Right now, I set up the education to work every day, because I thought it was a great way to really dive deep and engage in a continued conversation. So I want these videos to be shorter, a little bit conversational, but for us to really be kind of working and interacting with each other throughout the day in different ways. We can maybe start a forum, or if there's something that we need to do to make the conversation more accessible, we can definitely be doing that. So any suggestions to that end would be incredibly helpful to me. We can switch the forum for this. Instead of it being live, we can move to YouTube or something like that if people have input or ideas on a better way that we can do this. So that really brings me to my last point today, which is, even for me, this platform is very new and something that is a little bit overwhelming today. I think this video, I don't know, some of you were on, and did Maggie get back on? I think I stopped and started it a couple times because John and I were having some difficulties getting started, and so we're all kind of in a place where we're learning and stretching. And I really want to come back to that model of start with what you've got and do the best you can. We don't need for anything that we do right now to be perfect. We're all under extreme circumstances. The best thing that we can do is just put our best efforts forward and support each other and be positive and collaborate. Tons of collaboration. Even though we can't see each other, we have more time and space to communicate, interact, and collaborate with each other than we ever have before. So on that note, any questions, ideas, comments, thoughts that you have, please message me. You can email me at lindsaydez@gmail.com. You can privately message me on Instagram. You can chat on the wall, under the handout. However you want to interact, let's keep that interaction going so that we don't feel alone, we don't feel isolated. That's how we can overcome some of those struggles of a negative mindset and move into a growth mindset. It's really mostly by working together. So we are going to end with a quote from Barack Obama. It says, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the change that we seek." And so let's just come together. Let's do this. I will see you on Monday. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for taking time out of a busy time, actually. I know that there is tons of opportunities for you to be connecting with other educators or other platforms, and I just wanted to say thank you for connecting with me. I look forward to hearing more from you, and I'm actually excited to cut some hair. So hope to see you soon. Bye.
Ended.
No. No, don't. Don't. Oh. Okay. Bye.